A CEO of a $77 billion company just gave his engineers exactly 1 week. 7 days, 168 hours. Learn AI tools or lose your job. No exceptions, no extensions, no second chances. But what happened next didn't just change Coinbase forever. It sent shockwaves through every tech company in Silicon Valley. And it might be coming to your workplace next. Welcome back to AI Handbook, where I expose the revolutionary changes happening in artificial intelligence every single day. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Brian Armstrong's ultimatum is the beginning of the biggest workplace transformation since the internet itself. And more importantly, you'll know whether you're ready for what's coming. But first, let me ask you something that might keep you up tonight. When AI becomes mandatory at your company, will you be the one getting promoted or the one getting replaced?
Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, thought he was having a routine conversation about AI adoption. His team had just secured enterprise licenses for GitHub Copilot and Cursor, the world's most advanced AI coding tools, for every single engineer in the company. These weren't cheap. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in licensing fees. But then his team dropped a bombshell that left Armstrong completely stunned. They told him it would take months, possibly up to 6 months, to get even 50% of their engineers using these tools. 6 months for tools that take literally minutes to set up. Armstrong couldn't believe what he was hearing. Here was a company at the forefront of financial technology, and his own engineers were dragging their feet on the most important productivity revolution in software development history. That's when Armstrong made a decision that would change everything. He didn't consult with HR, he didn't run it by legal, he just went rogue. His words, not mine. But Armstrong's next move was so bold, so unprecedented, that it immediately divided his entire company into 2 camps, those who adapted and those who didn't. And only one group kept their jobs. Before we dive into what happened next, if you're finding this story as shocking as I am, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This kind of AI workplace drama is happening everywhere, and you need to stay ahead of it. Also, share this video with anyone who thinks AI is optional in their career. They need to hear this story. Armstrong didn't waste any time. He opened up Slack, went straight to the main engineering channel, where every developer in the company could see, and posted a message that would become legendary in Silicon Valley. AI is important, he wrote. We need you to all learn it and at least onboard. You don't have to use it every day yet until we do some training, but at least onboard by the end of the week. 1 week. That was it. But here's where it gets really intense. Armstrong wasn't just making a suggestion. He was drawing a line in the sand. If not, he continued, I'm hosting a meeting on Saturday with everybody who hasn't done it, and I'd like to meet with you to understand why. A Saturday meeting with the CEO to explain why you refused to spend 15 minutes signing up for a tool that could revolutionize your productivity? Think about that for a moment. This wasn't about mastering AI or becoming an expert overnight. This was simply about being willing to try, being open to the future, being adaptable enough to click sign up on a website. But the engineering team's reaction revealed something profound about human nature and change resistance. Despite having access to tools that GitHub claims make developers up to 55% faster, despite these being the most hyped technologies in their entire field, some engineers still refused. And that's when Armstrong realized he wasn't just dealing with a technology adoption problem, he was dealing with a fundamental mindset issue that would determine the future of his company. The clock was ticking, and the stakes were about to get much higher. Saturday arrived. Armstrong logged into that meeting, probably expecting to see dozens of engineers with creative excuses about why they couldn't adapt to the most important shift in software development since the invention of the internet. Instead, he found just a handful of people on the call. Some had legitimate reasons. They were traveling, dealing with emergencies.
genuinely couldn't make it work that week. Armstrong understood. Life happens. But others had no excuse except stubborn resistance to change. They looked their CEO in the eye and essentially said, "No, I refuse to even try the tools you've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in. I refuse to embrace technology that could make our entire company more competitive." And that's when Brian Armstrong made the decision that sent shockwaves through the entire tech industry. He fired them on the spot, not for being bad at their jobs, not for missing deadlines or writing poor code. He fired seasoned software engineers for refusing to even attempt to learn tools that could make them better at what they do. The message was clear. At Coinbase, adaptation isn't optional. Innovation isn't optional. The future isn't optional. But this wasn't just about a few engineers losing their jobs. This was about something much bigger, a fundamental shift in what it means to be employable in the age of AI. And the ripple effects were just beginning.
Here's what happened next, and it's probably the most important part of this entire story. Armstrong's heavy-handed approach, his own words, didn't destroy morale. It didn't create chaos. Instead, it created something remarkable: complete organizational alignment around AI adoption. Today, just months after that Saturday meeting, Coinbase generates 33% of all new code using AI tools. Let that sink in. 1/3 of everything they build is now AI-assisted. And they're not stopping there. They're targeting 50% by the end of September. But here's the really fascinating part. They've institutionalized AI learning. Armstrong now hosts monthly meetings where teams share creative ways they've used AI tools. Engineers are competing to discover new applications, new efficiencies, new possibilities. It's not just the engineering team either. Their design team is using it heavily, according to Armstrong. They're exploring AI-driven decision-making. Even Armstrong himself uses AI extensively in his role as CEO. They've transformed from a company where AI adoption was slow and optional to a company where AI fluency is part of the culture, where resistance to innovation is literally a fireable offense. Meanwhile, across the industry, GitHub Copilot has reached over 20 million users and is used by 90% of Fortune 100 companies. The developer productivity revolution is happening whether individual engineers embrace it or not. But Armstrong's story raises an uncomfortable question that every professional needs to ask themselves. What Brian Armstrong did at Coinbase isn't an isolated incident. It's a preview of what's coming to every knowledge-based industry. Google executives are already telling employees they need to use AI tools to stay competitive. Microsoft is integrating AI into every product. Companies across industries are measuring employee AI adoption rates like they used to measure sales numbers. The research backs this up. AI-powered developer tools could boost global GDP by over $1.5 trillion. Organizations using AI collaboration platforms report 25% productivity increases. Companies with high AI adoption see 40% more frequent feedback and 35% reduction in redundant work. This isn't about replacing humans, it's about augmenting human potential. But here's the critical distinction. It's about augmenting the humans who choose to embrace these tools. John Collison from Stripe, who interviewed Armstrong, raised an important concern about running an AI-coded codebase. But Armstrong's response was telling. We're not replacing human judgment, we're enhancing human capability. The engineers who adapted at Coinbase didn't become obsolete, they became more powerful, they became more creative, they became more valuable. But the ones who refused? They opted out of their own future. Think about this. If you were Armstrong, looking at two equally skilled engineers, one who embraces AI tools and delivers results 30 to 50% faster, and one who refuses to even try them, who would you promote?
Who would you keep during tough times? Who represents the future of your company? Brian Armstrong's one-week ultimatum at Coinbase wasn't just about AI tools. It was about adaptability. It was about being willing to evolve with technology instead of being replaced by it. The future workplace won't ask if you're comfortable with AI. It won't wait for you to be ready. It's coming whether you embrace it or resist it. So here's my challenge to you. Don't wait for your CEO to give you an ultimatum. Don't wait for a Saturday meeting where you have to explain why you refuse to adapt. Start learning AI tools now. Start experimenting. Start becoming the professional who embraces the future instead of fighting it. Because in the end, the choice isn't between humans and AI. The choice is between humans who use AI and humans who don't. Which one will you be? If this story opened your eyes to what's really happening in the workplace, subscribe for more insights that could save your career. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And let me know in the comments, has your company started making AI mandatory? How are you preparing? The future of work is here. Make sure you're ready for it.